All right, good morning. And just for those of you that don't know me, my name is Eric Valencia, and I'm the Executive Director for the Greater Reedley Chamber of Commerce. And thank you for joining us today as we provide this marketing workshop. Really excited. We have Charlene with the Fresno Economic Development Corporation, and we also have Richard Sargent, who actually was with us almost a year ago. We had a marketing workshop with him just right before COVID. Actually, I believe a few days before we went into lockdown. So when Charlene and Richard got in touch with me to kind of work on a new workshop this year, I was really excited to work with them. Obviously, it's been difficult as we've gone through the pandemic and kind of adjusting and pivoting to deal with that situation. But it's been awesome to see what some of our businesses have done. And so therefore, we have also invited some businesses to share what they've been doing during this pandemic. And so I'd like to kind of hand it over first to Charlene and give her an opportunity to introduce herself and the wonderful work the Fresno EDC does. Charlene?
Hi, good morning. It's nice to see everyone again. When I first started with Reedley, I was out there all the time shopping local. I really appreciate the businesses out there and the things that you have to offer. So like Eric said, I'm Charlene Holguin with the Fresno County Economic Development Corporation, short for EDC, and I'm an economic development specialist. And all that means is what I do is I bring resources to business. We have a partnership with the City of Reedley and the Chamber of Reedley. So like during COVID, we brought different resources to businesses. We're the ones that are really behind the scenes trying to make sure that businesses stay open and retain in the county of Fresno and in Reedley. And the way we do that is constantly research different grants and resources available. And if you want any more information, you can get a hold of me. We'll put the information in the chat box. And then if you don't remember anything, just remember EDC. You'll be able to bring us up. And if not, you can get a hold of me through Eric. No matter what you need, whether it's you're looking to hire, you're looking to relocate, expand, we offer all those resources. If we do not have the resource, we will connect you to and find the resource that you need. So I really appreciate the partnership with the City of Reedley and City of Chamber, or the Chamber. Reedley.
No worries. No, Charlene, you've been wonderful to work with and really great support to all of our businesses. Like I said, we were very lucky that we had a great relationship prior to COVID, and that was just really, the partnership we have and being able to support our businesses together has been really great. So thank you for continuing to work with us and providing resources to our businesses. Looking real quick, just want to share some of the local resources. Hopefully I can share this. Let me see if I can go back real quick. If you do have any questions regarding the chamber, you can always go to our website and see if I can share it here. So we are at www.reedleychamber.com, and obviously we have information about our organization, and we also do have some COVID-19 support, so different information. So just be aware, if you're a Reedley business, the city is accepting applications for their business assistance program. The applications are due February 26th. And so that will help with any businesses that have made adjustments for their business due to COVID. And also if you've been closed, if you were like a beauty salon or something like that, you can go ahead and get a waiver on some of your fees. And there's some other links and stuff. Just a reminder, we have been working for the Fresno EDC providing the Million Mask giveaway. So we do still have some masks and some hand sanitizer if you need it for your business. Just email me at eric@reedleychamber.com to set up an appointment to get that to you. We are still currently by appointment only, but we do have masks and hand sanitizer available for your business. And as I mentioned, if you just go through our website, there's a lot of other links and information that could be very helpful to you as you continue to operate your business during this time. So that's pretty much what I have right now. I'd like to introduce our guest today, who is Richard Sargent. And I mentioned he had joined us last year. And so Richard, if you'd introduce yourself.
Yeah, so Richard, I run an online marketing group here in Fresno, but we're expanding it throughout the nation. So that's something we'll be also sharing with you. I'm super passionate about small businesses. I've always been working with small businesses since the day that I worked for corporate was my first job with corporate. They didn't know my name, so that kind of sucked, right? So I want to be on first name basis. I have a lot to go through, right? We're not going to go through it just yet, but I'm super excited and feel free with comments and everything else to share as much as possible. We're here to help serve. So I'm super excited.
Awesome. So one of the things that I've been talking to Richard is just kind of, it's been difficult, to say the least, during this time of our pandemic, and it's been really interesting though to watch how the businesses have been working so hard to survive, and the different things they have done during this time. And so Richard has this great outline of things that really support, marketing and all that thing. But we thought it would be interesting to invite some businesses and kind of showcase some of the things that are being done, hopefully to give you some support and some hope for things that are possible at your business. And obviously, these three businesses have been working very hard. It has not been easy for them, but they've made the choice to really put focus on, making changes to adjust with the situation. And so the first business that we have today is from Golden Ace Valley Hardware. And really happy to have Aaron and Leanne join us. So Leanne, if you can jump on.
Hi, how's it going?
Great, great. So we've had a conversation about what this was going to all be about. Just for those maybe that aren't too familiar with your business, give us a little rundown of what your business is all about, what you guys do, and then we'll kind of run into how the pandemic affected you guys.
Yeah, I guess a little bit about the store. We are a full service hardware home improvement store. We opened, I think it was 6 years ago now, in the old Rite Aid Thrifties building next to Town and Country. So we have a little bit of everything and a lot of some stuff, and we do a pretty good job. At least we feel like we do at kind of filling the needs for the city of Reedley. So
yeah. And so I had, when we talked, I had mentioned one of the things that stuck out with me is you guys are very active on your social media and just kind of your community outreach. Prior to the pandemic, I know you guys were asking, from the community what they thought about store hours and different things of products you should be carrying. And you guys do carry quite a variety of products. I know recently the big thing has been your cinnamon rolls. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't always feel like we ask for community input on everything, but we on a lot of things, like I know you mentioned last time we spoke about our hours. We obviously we set our operating hours that benefit the store, but what benefits the store even more is if it benefits the customer. And so within reason, we kind of put a poll out and asked people about, what do they want our hours to be? What do they wish our hours were? And same thing with the products like the cinnamon rolls. It's not something that, it's not a retirement plan, selling cinnamon rolls, but it's fun and it gets people excited and gets them out and in the store and things like that. It's kind of a sales driver, I guess, if you want to call it that.
That's awesome. And so kind of talk about when we kind of went into the pandemic and your first thoughts. I'm going to share your screen here real quick. So yeah, tell us about, what your first thoughts were and what you guys actually did to kind of pivot.
So our first thoughts are, oh crap.
Yeah, it's, I think just like everybody, there's so much unknown especially when it comes to being a business owner and trying to operate. I know the restaurants got it even worse because there was even more unknown on what required, what wasn't, what they needed to do to keep the doors open, all those things. But yeah, obviously because of all that unknown, it is frightening and you don't know what's going to happen next. But really, we just kind of all sat down and we basically decided, like, we're just going to move forward and take it day by day. And that's kind of what we had to do because, it was changing so rapidly that, one day we were regulating the amount of people in the store. The next day we weren't. One day we were requiring masks. The next day we were requiring, the distancing. It was changing so rapidly. And so we looked at Facebook and Instagram, mainly Facebook, as the best way for us to communicate with a mass number of people. Even though it's not like we have a ton of followers or anything like that, but it was the quickest way for us to get in contact with as many customers as possible, and let them know that something was changing, or let them know that a product had come in that, Lysol wipes had come in that they were waiting for, things like that.
Yeah. And right now I have your some of your social media pulled up. Obviously it's your Facebook, but you guys are also on Instagram. And I have to say, one of the things that I commend you for is just your consistency. You guys are posting every day. And you're right. I do recall in the beginning that when people were looking for toilet paper or sanitizer, you guys were posting that you had it, or if you weren't in stock, that it was coming. And so you did very well communicating, I think, to the people that were following you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We like I said, we look at it as a marketing tool, but also as the easiest and quickest form of communication we have with, like I said, as many of our customers as possible. So not everybody looks at it. Not everybody pays attention to the post. They might scroll right past it, but it's going to get more people than me just telling them one at a time as they walk through the door, so.
Yeah. How do you think your efforts have impacted your business during this time?
Just overall, our efforts just across the board. I feel like, we were lucky. We were able to stay open the entire time. We were quote unquote essential, but it wasn't, we didn't lack effort. We still, it still was a lot of work, and I think all our efforts was what allowed us to keep it going. Being fluid and changing whenever the regulations changed or requirements changed, or, one thing we ran into is a lot of supply chain issues, things that were not available. And we had a lot of empty holes in the store, and it wasn't for lack of trying. But we tried to stay pretty flexible when it came to suppliers and brands, and, finding like items just to kind of fill the void temporarily, things like that. So I feel like our efforts, I guess, paid off, being able to keep it kind of moving. So
That's good. Just kind of give me, a little background as far as, your history with the hardware store, and what does being a part of the hardware store mean to you guys?
Well, I have a little more history in it than she does. I'll try to make it short. I started working at the Fowler at Fowler Ace Hardware when I was 15. We didn't own it at the time. It was a different owner, and I started working there. It was my first job, and I was sweeping floors on Saturdays and things like that. And then about a year later, the opportunity came up, and my parents thought it was a good opportunity. So my parents actually purchased the Fowler store, and we operated it in that location where it was for about 5-7 years, something like that. And then we expanded the Fowler store and operated it in its new location for, I think it was about 4 or 5 years. And then we started looking at opportunities, and we saw the town of Reedley, and obviously we enjoy Reedley. And we saw a need, or what we thought was a need, and we decided to open the store in Reedley. And so here we are.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciated you guys. You've been chamber members since I've been here, and really appreciate the support you guys always give to our programs. And you guys just been a wonderful business for our community. I'd like to kind of ask Richard, is there anything you'd like to interject here and kind of maybe share some things that they've done that relates to the marketing world, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, so just really quick, and I think you guys covered this before, if you can just take one more moment on here about what does a hardware store mean to the community for the nostalgic stake of it, right? Like, what does that mean? Because as you're going to see in this presentation, it's kind of a prelude to this is that, like, when we're talking about marketing, you can be posting as much as you want, but what does it really mean to have a hardware store in Reedley? What does that mean to the community? If you can just touch on that for one more moment.
Yeah, after I finished, I remember we did talk about that. So, for at least for me, there is a lot of nostalgia with a hardware store. Obviously, like I said, I started there when I was young. I remember going there when, with my dad, and so one thing we try to do, and I feel like we do it with our posts on our social media as well, is we try to keep. Obviously, we want the store to be relevant from a product standpoint, and all those things. But we are firm believers that every town needs a hardware store, a place that you can go and get your questions answered, whether they're hardware related or not. And your kids enjoy going with you because it's fun, and there's cats, or there's ice cream, or whatever, cinnamon rolls, and to us, there is a lot of nostalgia with a hardware store, and it is kind of that old timey, everybody needs one. We'd all miss it if it was gone type store. And so we try to bring that to the store, and we try to bring that to our posts as well, even with silly things like jokes and silly engagements on Facebook, where we ask a silly question or whatever it may be. It just keeps us, I guess, in our mind, it keeps us relevant, not just from a place that people want to go spend money, but just keeps us as a place that people want around, and that's what we want. So
Yeah, one of your questions that was most recent was asking people, and I was amazed how many hits it got, was if you could spend $2,000 in 30 minutes, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do? And that got so many responses, and it's kind of funny because you would think, well, who's really going to respond? Like, it doesn't seem like, but people get involved in, like, it wasn't like to win anything either. I don't think it was just a random question. Yeah.
And a post like that, I mean, at least for us, if you want to go down the marketing and the that kind of rabbit hole, is that post also allowed us to get a little insight into what customers are looking for, or what they see is value in it, things that we carry, and so it lets us kind of see, like, okay, so some people really like this product or this product, and this is what they wouldn't be buying, so it allowed us to do that too at the same time. But it's fun. More importantly, it's fun,
Yeah.
seeing what they say and getting them to engage.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you put a great point there. Yeah, it's a great way to see what are they asking for, what do they want to get. And real quick, I just have to point out if you guys didn't see the chat comment, Richard said $2,000 worth of cinnamon rolls. that made me chuckle. So, well, yeah. We obviously limit on time, so I want to move on to our next guest. But thank you guys so much. If we have any questions, we'll come back to you guys. So please stick around.
No problem.
Our next person that we're going to bring up is Emma Cuevas with Cottonwood Clothing. And one of the reasons I thought of Emma is she was an immediate person to join with the membership of the chamber when she opened up. And obviously she was a newer business. And so, it was difficult for me to imagine, okay, this is a new business that just opened up, and here we are going into COVID. So she was one of those businesses that I really worried about. It's like, was she established enough that she's going to get through this? And she's just done a remarkable job. Her and her daughters, and I'm sure the rest of her family help out. And so she's got great products. She's really invested in the community, and she has just done a great job with marketing. So I really wanted to have her on here. So Emma, if you'd tell us a little bit about your business, the pre-COVID and leading into COVID, if we can hear that story.
Well, good morning. So I came into this business, acquired the building in November. The building was not ready to go. I mean, it was in no way up to my standards and what I wanted, my vision of what I wanted the store to be. So I did end up investing a big chunk of money into the building. So it was a pretty big investment. We opened up in December. We did very well. And then the pandemic came. So you can imagine how that felt. But we got through it. I think we just never gave up. like I was telling you and Richard, the first thing that I did when I heard that this was going on is I just got online. I mean, I continued to work through the pandemic. So I was online checking out what resources were available and what I could do. I wasn't ready to throw in the towel, even though I lost a lot of money.
Yeah,
I
you
could
were
say now I recovered it though.
yeah, because you were
I worked
actually
hard and I recovered
closed for, I forgot, was it almost 3 months?
Yeah,
Were you-
almost 3 months.
Almost 3 months you guys were closed.
And 2 weeks.
But you continued to kind of keep your name out there. I felt like,
Mhm.
with what you
Well, we
guys.
worked on an online business because I thought, okay, everybody's going to online, so let's shift to online. Created a website, which is not easy, by the way. So it really isn't. And because we were brand new, a lot of people didn't really know us. So we tried to get our name out there, but it didn't work. The website, it failed. So, but we didn't give up. We just kept, I thought, okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to bring in new brands. I brought in new brands, kind of redid the whole store and just waited for us to open back up.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
So you said though you felt like for you the website didn't feel as important, but
No.
where do you think the effort that you did put in seemed like worthwhile? So more the social media?
Yes, the social media, but I think more than anything is the customer relationship that we had with our local community. I know we've also donated like to different organizations. One of my number one organizations that I donate to is to the Wounded Warriors. We are a military family. I call us a military family because my daughter's in the military. So that's something that's very dear to my heart. So it's something that I feel like when you give, you get back.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of kept us relevant, as well as being part of there was a platform that started from the Air Force Academy, which is where my daughter's at, and they were able to get our name out there as well. So they advertised for us because we were a USOF Air Force Academy family that was going through a pandemic. So that did help us out a lot. We got a lot of people calling us and ordering things off of our Instagram. So it wasn't necessarily online or our website, but off of Instagram. So I mean, hey, a free platform, Instagram, plus free advertisement all over the country. That helped us out. That kind of kept us afloat.
Nice. So definitely just reaching out to your different options, I think, is kind of what I'm hearing, and taking advantage of those things. But once again, and the other thing is the consistency. You didn't give up. You stuck to it.
No, I didn't give up.
The website didn't really make it, but you shifted to something else, and kept working until it paid some dividends for you. Like I said, even like your product lines have changed and really addressing the needs of what the community wants.
Yeah, I came in because I have a daughter in high school and she really wanted me to carry younger girls' clothes. And so I came in with about 40% of my inventory being catered more to like the juniors. But that wasn't the customer base here. So right now we've really shifted a lot. We've shifted to more, a Missy type clothing, which pretty much anyone can wear, but I got out of that juniors phase that we were in.
Do you think it's natural for you to be like, okay, something doesn't work, move on? Because I know some people can get very much stuck to something and almost just be like, this is all I'm going to do. If it doesn't work, then whatever. But you think it's just what in you makes you say, hey, I get it. We have to continue to follow the audience or the customer base and really meet their needs.
I think just the drive in me, I guess I just have that entrepreneur drive that I just want to keep going. And also my customers, we really love our customers' relationship that we have with them. I'm born and raised in Reedley, so a lot of the customers that I've had were friends of mine, and just kind of, I just didn't want to let them down. Not only did I not want to let my family down, but I didn't want to let the customers down either, because they really liked the store. When we first opened, they were really worried about us. So I could have thrown in the towel. I got my money back in December when we opened, what I invested. So I could have been like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to do this. we have another business too. My husband and I have a beekeeping business. So I could have been just like, you know what, forget this. But no, I kept going and it's paid off. We're actually looking at a second location already. So
That's awesome. That's really
we're
awesome.
excited about that.
Obviously, I've always felt, if you have a business, you really need to be there. Can you share how many hours do you put in, and what is that like, and why do you put in the hours that you do?
We put in a lot of hours. I mean, I'm going to say from 8 to 12 hours. And it's not just here in the store. It's also just being on my computer, researching new brands, new items. It's a lot of hours. And I think everybody knows that.
And you knew that going in? Or was it like, oh my gosh, this is taking more time than I thought? Or
Yes. Yeah, I was surprised at how much time, but because I enjoy what I do, it doesn't, it doesn't seem as it's a lot, but it is a lot. It's a lot of hours. Yeah.
Well, I always say if you can find a passion in what you do, sometimes even if it is hard, it doesn't quite feel as difficult or as much as work because you're enjoying the time doing it.
Exactly.
But I truly believe as a new business, you have to be there. You really just can't just open up and step back and let someone else do it. I think you really need to have that investment from the beginning.
That's right.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, Richard, do you kind of want to interject here and kind of maybe touch on some points with Emma?
Yeah, there's one point that I think we talked about that really hit home, and everything's been amazing from everyone so far, is can you share how you help serve your customers versus they just choose a product and take it from there, or how do you help them choose the right fit for them?
Yeah, I remember we talked about that. If something doesn't look good, I'll tell them. Even if I'm going to, I don't want to lose my customers, basically. So if somebody comes in and they try something on or they need something and I don't have it, I will send them next door, which they also have apparel. I will send them somewhere else, because at the end of the day, I want to make them happy. And just because I lose a sale doesn't mean that I lose a customer. So I think sometimes you have to lose a sale to gain a customer. So it's not always about money.
Yeah, it's important. Anything else, Richard?
No, that's just the main point, because I think as we've talked to you and talked to everyone so far, and you'll also hear with the next one, is just a matter of taking care of your customer first. It's customer relationship first over the sale, over a quick buck.
Absolutely.
If someone's coming to a hardware store, you can still help them out and help them with whatever they need. If they're trying to choose a proper clothing and it's next door, you're going to help them out and care about them long term versus how can I get the extra dollar out of them. So that's really passionate and important.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you,
Eric,
Emma.
I just want to say real quick, I live in Fresno, and before the pandemic, I was out in Reedley a lot, and I always stopped at Emma's store, and now I'll be stopping at Ace because it's really important to me as a consumer to have that extra customer service. And she was there. If I don't have your size, I'll order it. Or she helped me pick out earrings. And, I appreciate Ace's hardware's motto because I can't tell you how many times I go to the big chain stores over here and I don't get the help I need. And so I always save my shopping for Reedley because I knew that I was going to get the customer service that I need out there and that I want out there. So I will also be visiting Ace Hardware out there also, so I don't have to walk around aimlessly for an hour trying to figure out what I need. So thank you. I appreciate that with businesses in Reedley.
Thank you.
That's awesome, Charlie. Thank you. We appreciate that. Real quick before we move on, let me share, if I can figure this out here. We have Emma's social media here, and so they are on Facebook and on Instagram. And they also do have a website, so make sure you check them out there on those sites. All right. Our next person is a little bit more of an established business, but they've done some really neat things. One of the things that kind of reached out to me was just kind of how inventive they were when the pandemic hit and the things they've done. And one of the most recent things they've done is having an app. And so I'm inviting, we have Carrie Gutierrez from Mainstreet Café, Reedley. And so I've just been really in awe of the energy and the inventiveness they have had there. And so, Carrie, are you still with us? There you are. There you are. So yeah, as I mentioned, a little bit more established business. but restaurants have been hit pretty hard, rules changing. You can be indoors, you can't be indoors, you have to be outdoors, you can only do takeout. So give us a little bit of background about the business, how you guys came to be, and then the lead up to the pandemic, and then how things have gone since then.
Okay, so in 1993, my dad was a builder. He's always been a builder since he was, 16 years old. He's always been in construction. Then we had the recession hit, and we were actually on our way up to Canada to go move up there with my brother's a big builder up there. And my aunt had worked at, Golden Valley Travel when it was next to Burgess Hotel. And she said there's a restaurant for sale. And my dad always had this wild idea to own a restaurant. And we stopped on our way up to Canada and he bought himself a restaurant.
Wow.
So this May 1st will be 28 years that we've had the restaurant. So and at the time, Mainstreet was only a Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. And now we're 7 days a week. And our hours have jumbled with COVID, right? So that's how we ended up in Reedley. I moved here my sophomore year, but we live here now. My husband works here, and my mom, dad, we all are within like a couple of blocks of each other. Got 4 kids here in the district, so that's us. With COVID, so it will be a year for us since we closed our doors March 13th. So it's exciting and it's also baffling at the same time. Like we made it, we made it, we kept going. We closed for about a week at one point just to detox. Like it just was too much, we'd been going and going and going and going, and we all burnt out around Christmas time. And that's a kind of a good time to take a break anyways. But going back to the roller coaster ride, it has been. And Aaron was right when he said, it's the unknown, and we're still in the unknown of, when are you going to open? When are you not? Competing with other restaurants who aren't necessarily following CDC or county guidelines that are open and we're not, and dealing with customers that, are upset that we're not open. And then yet you have customers who are like, thank you for still being cautious. So that's continues to be a ride. That continues to be something we're constantly having to guess. We don't know what the rules will look like when we open back up. Like, are we going to gradually open up? Is it gradually going to be, you can let 10% in, 15%, 25%? I honestly don't foresee us opening back up until summertime, or having a clearer picture from those entities of what that looks like. So
yeah, like you said, it's been interesting to watch, as you mentioned, because it really does, for a while it was changing day by day, week by week. It's been a little bit more stable. So currently it's outdoor dining. But yeah, you're right. It's uncertain of what will happen when they do open indoor. I'm guessing it'll probably be, a percentage, a little by little, to open up. But as I mentioned, you guys have done some inventive things to kind of continue. In the beginning, you guys were writing little notes on the packages, which, really, I think, touched people. People were nervous and scared, and it was a little thing that you could do that was almost just goodwill for the community. And just different things that you played with, naming a song. And I think during a time when people were actually at home, I remember it being so quiet downtown because people were actually in their homes in the beginning. I think that brought a little warmth and some brightness to people's days. And so give me some examples of things you did like that, or why you did that.
Well, writing the sayings on there, like, you've got this, you can do this, you're stronger than you know. At the time, that's when it really hit for me, like going nonstop. I'm a family of 6. I have 4 children. And it was kind of like, you guys know how to make a sandwich, stay here. I'm going to help grandma and grandpa save this restaurant so we don't go down. So it just was so much. It was so much. And I think, reality, like, I wanted to hear those things. I needed to hear those things. And I felt like I needed to hear those things. So many other people. And it can be a dark place for COVID, especially if you are by yourself or, you have to be at home. Like you need to hear that. And I think our community really responded to that. People were really, really pleased to have that. Just a little note, right? Like who doesn't want to be told, I'm doing great today. It's okay to breathe.
Yeah.
So that's where that started from. And that was me writing on every single box. It was about 3,000 boxes that I wrote on. With the game, it was kind of like the trivia, like, what's the song lyrics? Like, do you know this song? And in your mind, you're like, okay, but some of our clientele might not have any idea what this song is, but you just keep going until you hit somebody that knows it, right? So we did things like that. Reedley loves strawberry pie, so we put that on a lot of.
I'm one of those people.
Strawberries, yes, and just different little games like. Oh, I can't even remember at this time. My brain is so full of stuff. And then giving away a gift card. Post a picture of like your favorite meal or something like that, or guess a question and then post it online and then win something. So we did those kinds of things. We had been working on just different, it became a game for us to figure out what grabbed people's attention, like what style. Was it just a picture or was it our weekly specials all at one time? So that kind of was the game in the beginning of trying to figure out like what would grab people's attention.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about in our conversation earlier is, it is a lot of work. There's a reason why there's full-time people that just do, social media and marketing. And so to have to operate your business and, and family life and all that, it is a lot of work, but would you say it's been worth it?
It has been worth it. It really has. I think in the beginning of COVID, spending so much time and energy on that, it carried us. It really did. And we've seen a shift. You and I talked about it a lot. You see a shift as far as your community and the world as COVID changes of how people respond. And I can't thank you and our community enough in the beginning of reaching out and, hey, we want to make sure you survive. And it's a restaurant. So you go to the grocery store, you buy something, you don't use it, you put it in the trash or you eat it for leftovers. So think about that on a massive scale of what we're buying. In the beginning, we ended up donating some of our food because we're at loss, right? It's going to be gone. So it just was a game of like trying to figure out how much do we buy this week? Like, well, we can't run out of this. And then, Aaron had talked about it too, about your supply. Okay, we have to use a different hamburger patty this week, because it's not coming. And we had the chicken outbreak, the COVID outbreak of the chicken plants, right? So it was a lot of that, of going back and forth and trying to just manipulate the day. Yeah. And then, balancing my family unit and, and then in the restaurant and things like that. But I think overall, it really has been beneficial. I mean, we're still going. It's almost a year later, right?
Yeah. Typically, I would say, I wouldn't put Reedley and technology, in the same sentence, but I feel like COVID kind of progressed Reedley a little bit, and people jumping on social media or getting their websites done, or even for you guys a little bit more because connecting with getting orders delivered and the whole app thing. And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so actually through the chamber, Bitwise and Order Slip had reached out and saying that they were going to waive costs for setting up the app. They just want to make sure that restaurants are, surviving in our area. And so it took me a little while. It was kind of like, can we even support an app? Can we do this? Right. It's one more thing to add on my plate. And so we went for it with them. And it was a process just because we weren't set up for their system. So you have to manually enter in our whole menu. And, and then you start thinking like, is this a good time to even change our menu? And it's really interesting to see like what normally is our big seller to what became what people really, really wanted, right? Because if you're gonna go out and you really want something, so it's just, we've seen this shift of our menu. And so the app took us a little bit longer than we were hoping for, but it's more of our doing. And we just thought, make it easier because Grubhub came up, right? Everybody started using Grubhub or DoorDash. And those, if you talk to a lot of individual restaurants, it's very challenging because of the percentage they take from us. And sometimes there's not a driver and we incur that cost of not getting the food picked up. So we worked with Order Slipped. We created an app and people are using it. I think in Reedley, it's taking a little bit longer to catch hold. I'm an app user. If I could order it online and go pick it up when I'm in Fresno to bring it home or wherever, I'm there, just because I'm always on the move. So we're seeing that. We hope to incorporate through our app our own delivery service. That's going to be some more time, though. I would say at least months to do that. But it's working out well, and I hope people continue to use it. But then it's the marketing of the app too.
Yeah,
it's right here. You can use it. You can plan your lunch like, hey, Friday I want Mainstreet, and you can do a future order or things like that.
wow, that's cool. Yeah, no, I just think it's awesome that you guys have taken to technology, and I think it's, if some people have not really thought about it, there are some options that could help your business and make maybe simplify things. And so I feel like that's one of the things we've learned about the pandemic is you're taking a chance, and you can't just sit still and do nothing. You have to do something. And so technology seems to be one of those things that is available to us, and in some ways can help us. So I'm glad you were able to find something that worked for you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot on the phone like a teenager. Mom, put your phone down. No, I'm posting.
Awesome. Hey, Richard, do you want to go ahead and interject here and kind of pull out some points?
So I think just the main thing is just when you talked about social media and the consistency behind it, when you're posting consistently, you're seeing a direct relationship towards traffic. When you're not posting, it kind of falls away. And I think it just comes down to that time and attention on there. Yeah. So what are some, I would just say like one question, what are some of the guidelines that you're establishing for yourself and for your team moving forward on that, for that time and attention?
So we're actually working on that right now. And what it is I'm just pulled in so many different directions. We've been running a skeleton crew. Sometimes it's just my family and one employee, and now we're starting to bring people back, and we're going to start filling that schedule even like fuller, so that I can get myself some time to focus on the things that are actually my job, right? So right now I'm your cook, your dishwasher, you're helping out front and trying to do my regular job. So I think that's what it is. It really is, a social media is setting aside that time to focus on it, because you and I talked, it's so much. Like I give you guys props. I now I understand, like, you take a company like Target, like why there is a team just to run Instagram, it is so much. And I don't think that general public understands that maybe from what it takes a business to run that. It's constantly like, hey guys, thank you for inquiring about what our soup is today, but you can't ask me on social media because I might not get back to you for like 2 days. So, and it's not really the public's job to educate themselves on that, but it is a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah. Well, real quick, let me pull up your social media here. Let's see. And do you want to share how do people get your app?
So you can go to Google Play and the Apple Store, and you'll just search Mainstreet Café app and it pops up. I think there's one game named Mainstreet, and then it's us, Mainstreet Café app, but we'll be the first one. And you just download it. It's a completely free app. And through the app, it has its own reward system. So after you order 10 times, you'll get a discount off. Every once in a while, we'll start throwing up there, use this discount code for a percentage off, either on a certain day or like a one-time use. So there's lots of functions on there that are beneficial.
Cool. And yeah, and you see here on the left side of the screen, So definitely check that out. Also, they're on Facebook and Instagram, and Carrie posts very frequently, and I'm always excited when I see something that makes my mouth water and call you up. So thank you for that.
Yep.
All right. Well, that covers our three guest businesses today. I really thank you guys for speaking and sharing with our audience, and our audience will be watching later when we post this on Facebook. But I think it's just important to realize, our community businesses aren't alone. That's really the job the chamber wants to do, is connect you guys and share information, so that you can support your business and you can do things that will help you survive. Sometimes it's even just emotional support, knowing that you're not alone. And so obviously you guys have all been through it. But I do commend you for your consistency, your dedication, the hours you put in. Being a business owner isn't easy. And, sometimes you need someone to help, kind of push you a little bit and just give you those words of encouragement that, there's help out there if you look for it. And Emma, for example, said she was out there doing her homework, looking for different things to do, and everyone else kind of has done the same thing, trying to find their way through this time. So I just commend you guys for the consistent spirit that you've had, and definitely our community benefits from from you guys being here. Obviously, you make our community. It's nice that we can go and get our cinnamon rolls and our pies, and if you want to go get a sweater or something, that it's local and you connect with people. That's really nice for that hometown community feel, and that we're supporting our community. And so, thank you guys for that. Richard, I'm going to hand it over to you and kind of see where you want to go with this from here.
Yeah, so I actually, based on the three interviews, and thank you guys so much for being here on theirs, this next portion is as engaging as you want it to be. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to be running through some slides, but I'll show you the methods that we're going to be using and talking about. So as you're going to be able to see, I am less about the tactics of like the top 10 things to do, or like these flashy, I would say BuzzFeed terms, right? And let's actually get to the root of your business, because I've been doing marketing for the past now 15 years. And even in the last 5 years of owning my own business, I'm going to be sharing with you what has worked and what hasn't with these businesses that we've worked with, the failures, the wins, the lessons learned, but really how can you apply it today? Because that's the ultimate goal, is to take these nuggets and move forward. So as you can see, I have a couple ground rules. And are you guys able to see my screen with the word ground rules on there? Yeah, okay,
Yes.
We're good. So here's some ground rules. You can either screenshot it now, or I'll send you these slides afterwards. So you don't have to be like screenshot, screenshot, screenshot. I'm going to share this with you. So you're not going to get it again. There's no fear of missing out on here. What I want you to do is comment as much as possible. If you have any questions, insights, or if you just like what's happening here, then go ahead and like and comment there. Eric, help me out on the comments to like that, because I don't think when I'm sharing my screen, I can see that. So any questions, insights, let's talk about that, and let's take those moments. So you can, on your Zoom chat, there's a place where you can actually type them in there. Feel free to do that. Like, please engage with this. This isn't me talk the whole time, then you ask questions at the end. You can ask questions in between. When it comes to our method, so we're going to educate, ask questions anytime, and share examples. So let's go through this. When you're taking notes, slides will be provided so you don't have to write down every single question. Just take the thoughts and impressions that are coming in your head right now about actions you should take in your business. And I would say in the next 24 hours or next week. So if something prompts you and say, that's a really good idea, I want to do that in the next week, take that note right there. Because that's not something that's provided here. It came from your own thoughts, right? I can't read your thoughts, by the way. So that's one of those things that only you can. So that's one of those things to be able to share. So if you can first off comment, what's the name? So what's your name and what industry are you in? Are you in restaurant, clothing, hardware, gym, theater, real estate? Just so we get a kind of feel for the examples that we have here. So if you can take a quick moment for that as I pull up the chat as well. Okay, I can see the chat, so that's good. So if you can just take a quick moment for that, that would be greatly appreciated, just so we can use examples. Awesome. So let's go through this. The ultimate goal of this workshop is to help sure that we're working together and we're getting stronger from there. So let's work through this, right? Last year, I thought I almost wore the same shirt, by the way. I was a little but I'm not, so it's okay. This is a workshop, and this happened on March 10th, right? What I didn't know is that as soon as I left, I think we had about 20 people there. We did a really great workshop. It was really in depth, able to use a whiteboard, even though you couldn't read my handwriting. But on the way home is when I started getting the calls of meetings being canceled. So I'm leaving Reedley to go back to Fresno, and meetings are just getting canceled. And that's honestly when the fear set in for me. So this was honestly, I know it sounds weird, I'm getting a little choked up about. This was the last like pure moment I had of what life was like before pandemic. It's on the way home when I start checking messages of stuff being canceled. So this coming back to Reedley, even if it's virtually right now, is one of those things I'm passionate about. And I wanted to continue to be able to provide this. So we went through a slide deck last time and talked about offers and went really in depth. But one of the feedback that I got was, hey, there's a lot of great stuff here. I just don't know how to apply it. So I wanted to take a step back and show you how we can do some of these things. As you can see, here's the whiteboard that we were able to use. No one could read my handwriting, which is okay. I don't have handwriting for you today, so you'll be able to read it. But from there, I was able to show what we call the Grand Canyon course and talk about if someone doesn't know who you are, to their client and every step in between. We actually now have that as a course that is launching live next month. That's free. So we're giving out to everyone. So that's more polished, but keep in mind, it started in Reedley. That was the first time we showed it. I know it's not as easy to see, but there is a little Grand Canyon right here with steps. And there's a lot of steps from if someone doesn't know who you are to actually become your customer and everything in between and making sure that's identified. So that's something that we'll have. When you're asking questions or anything else on here, you can ask me any in-depth question on here because I believe in the recipe method, which is give everything away for free. What happens is that when you use one of these methods, you'll share back the feedback of what didn't work and what did work, and it will improve it from there. That's the ultimate goal of what we're doing here today, is to help out others, right? It's not my trade secrets and you have to pay for it. Take it all, right? If it's great, you can tip me in tacos or a strawberry pie, right? Or cinnamon rolls. Like, I'm so down, I can't think about anything else, let me tell you. So let's start from the beginning. Let's back up to the very beginning of your business. Right now, even today, we are all trading time because time equals attention. So right now you are taking this time and I hold it to the highest standard of value here. So first off, thank you for that. When you are dealing with your clients or anyone else, they are giving your time and you're providing value for them. So just remember that at the root of everything you're doing, a social media post, a call to a client, a follow-up, anything else is time and attention. That's ultimately what we're doing here. It's not, hey, I have to make a sales call. It's gathering time with them, right? To be able to share that. A majority of businesses either do that through, connections on phones or anything else. But a lot of times, especially with pandemic, we're starting to do this through media. So some of the different media, which you don't have to screenshot this, I'll just go a high overview of it, is you either own your own websites, you own blogs, or you own shared social media, word of mouth, everything else. There could even be paid methods of like promoting yourself all throughout Reedley, or there's even mentions of what other people are saying about you. But no matter what method you're using from here or what you have on your business, right? It all comes down to this, that the platforms and markets will come and go. But your content or your message, let's use instead of copy. And if you craft a good offer, you'll probably always remain in business. So it doesn't matter if you were on MySpace, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, TikTok, if the messaging is there, it will resonate with others. So don't get too caught up in this. And this is coming from a marketing guy. I'm telling you not to get caught up on the platforms you're on. You want to be where your audience is and you can find that out, but it's the message that you're sharing. And you don't have to craft the message to TikTok loves this and Facebook loves this and everything else. If it's your customer, they'll love the message that you have, right? Remember this, if you're to gain anything from this and you're to turn this off right after this slide, remember this slide. Content builds relationships. Relationships build trust. Trust drives revenue. Now I'm going to take a second here. We're not always focused on revenue because I think Emma was talking about passion over profits, right? Something that I wrote down from hers. It's the passion behind what you're doing that will ultimately drive profits in the near future of long-term gain. So you don't need the quick wins right now. But you can't build the relationships without content if they're not hearing from you. So that's something I want you to focus on, is that actual content behind there. So here's some content props that I want you to think about. In the last few weeks, what was one of your biggest wins? What was the biggest lesson? What was the biggest failure? What's something that you had to learn the hard way? And you can even go back to like when you first started. You have all this time from when you started your business till now to share these things. What's a new lesson that you've implemented? Now, it depends on who you are. You can either write it out through text, right? You can write it out on your desktop to your Facebook or anything else. Or honestly, how we're doing it today, to shoot a video. And even if it's a selfie, right? Share that video for at least 1 minute with one of these questions. Because the tone, your voice, and your approach, and even your expressions will do a lot more for you than in written words. Unless I know exactly how you are in your pace, I'm not be able to read it into the method that you provided. And if you're sharing the biggest lesson and I read it monotone, it's not going to have that same effect. So have some of these things on here about sharing the biggest lessons that you've learned. People want to connect with you, and that will build more relationships. Our ultimate job in marketing, which people forget this all the time, and I'm even teaching other marketing agencies this, our job for our clients is to extract the genius. Our job is to help promote you as much as possible. We're not here to reword who you are. We're not here to retell your story. We're here to share your story and help to promote that. So you could either do it. So look at the questions here. Great question, by the way. As a question posed from someone else, our own point of view, I honestly love the own point of view because we're trying to extract that genius. So tell it from your side, right? Interviews do really well, but honestly, like if you're not able to interview right now, then this is a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, I just want to share a quick lesson that we've learned from this past week, or handwritten notes on what that's meant to us, right? So you can share those examples with others. The ultimate goal when you're extracting the genius is document what you're doing right now. Don't create something. You're not having to tell a new story. You're not a storyteller that has to create something else. Tell the story that you're doing right now, the documentation of it. What's a day in the life of you right now, right? What time do you wake up? What do you have to do before you even go there? Before the even first cup of coffee is served at your restaurant, what are you doing before there? Because it's not, hey, I wake up, I get my car, I drive, coffee's ready. That doesn't happen, right? So it's one of those things. The clothes don't magically appear on the shelf. The cinnamon rolls don't just come up there and it's just easy to sell, right? If that was the case, everyone else would be doing it. So I want you to document what you're doing in order to share with others so they can get an inside peek behind the scenes of what it's like. When you're doing this, I want you to plant your flag. What's your unfair advantage? Why should people go to you versus anyone else? So if you were to have a flag and you're waving around in front of your store right now, 20 feet, super insane to hold, right? And you're just waving around and it's sharing that one message about like, why should you come here? The best strawberry pies in the whole Central Valley. Make that claim. Be bold with your claims. The best clothes that are going to make you feel amazing in life, right? Make those claims. So it's not anything like got you like, ooh, well, I don't know if you do. People can debate it, but from your heart, that's the reason why you're here today. That's the reason why you're serving your community. Let people know what your flag is. Plant that flag and have an unfair advantage. Meaning, why should they go to you versus anyone else? You're not going to talk bad about anyone else because we love our communities that we serve. But you know why people should go to you. If you want X, Y, and Z, this is why you should come to me. Let people know that. Because most people are like, well, should I just go to McDonald's or over here? Why should I go there, right? Let people know. This is going to be something that is controversial and it's not a bad thing. So don't worry about mute me on this one. Every company here is a media company. So take your name right here. So let's just take Mainstreet is a media company that serves food, right? And you can get detail in the food. So I apologize for not being as detailed, but you're a media company first because that's how you gather the time and attention. So imagine taking every one of your businesses right now. The hardware store is a media company that serves the community for your home project needs, right? If you're a home and you're a media company, you're going to drive a lot more time and attention. Doesn't mean you have to call yourself media company, but internally, really think of yourself as a media company in order to help promote and share. Most people look at these three words, try, fail, and success, and everyone thinks it goes from left to right. Oh, I try, I fail, and then I succeed. Awesome. We know that's not true though, right? It looks like this. That you're trialing and you're failing and you succeed. Now, the thing is that trial and that fail over here, that circle, right, usually happens sometimes 100 times. You try, you fail, you try, you fail, and you just never get to that last little point of succeeding, right? I don't want you to ever give up on this. You have to try until you succeed. You can try 1,000 different ways that don't work, but guess what? You found 1,000 ways why it doesn't work and what's going to work. In my own business, it's not this, marketing business that makes a lot of money, right? What's happening here is there's actually a lot that I've failed from, and I share those failures. Why? Because other people are like, hey, I was going through that same thing, but I was too scared to share that. No, let's be real with each other. Be transparent. I'm here to build relationships. I can show you 99 ways of a marketing agency failing. And now I can show you one way that is working for us today. But guess what? It's always going to be pivoting. There's always new things out there. There's always flashy objects in marketing, right? But what's our true purpose? Leading to this point right here. You have to look at yourself, and I know this is a lot of information to consume right now, but let's start at the top. What is your purpose? Why are you here today? And we'll break that down. Then it leads into your mission of why the business exists. What are your priorities and goals to achieve that mission? Then there is tasks that happen behind that, right? So let's talk about each one of these really quick. Purpose. If anything else in your business, the one thing I would want you to learn and understand about yourself and share with others is, why does your business exist today? So take that moment. Why are you the one running that business? Why does it exist? If people understand that purpose, they will be more inclined to build that relationship with you, right? I'm here to help serve right now. I help serve my family. I help serve my community, my friends. I help serve my team. It's not a transactional job. I help coach and mentor my team because they help and coach and mentor our clients. And I care about every single person along the way. That's the reason why I'm in business. That's the purpose. Next, your mission. What is, we call the bag, right? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? This is your 10-year plan. You can keep it at one sentence. And by 2031, I want to achieve, or we as Mainstreet Café, right, want to achieve this. What is your goal? Or are you just running the rat race of doing the same year over and over, right? What is your ultimate goal of this? And guess what? This mission needs to be plastered everywhere, on your homepage, on your walls, everything else, so everyone understands your mission that you're trying to achieve. Because there's going to be one of two things. I'm not down for that mission. They can move on. They're not your customers, and you save them time, right? Or, you know what? I believe in your mission. I want to help support you. What can I do for you? How can I be a part of your mission, right? From there, there's the priorities of reverse engineering that mission. So when we're talking about reverse engineering, which we're getting a little technical now, we're diving into the weeds of this, right? High level, in the next year, what do you need to do in order to get closer to that mission? If you notice, the mission is a 10-year goal, right? I want you to only focus on the next year, not 3-5-year plans. We're not building out anything else, because guess what? Pandemic has taught us one thing. We can't predict the future, right? So if that's the case, I want you to set up the next year of a loose, like, high overview goal. Because there's the thing, you have the purpose way in front of you, you have the mission, and then you have where you are today. Set the goal and your sights on that, of saying, my priorities right now, what am I working on to achieve those goals, to achieve that mission? One of the things, and I'll share a 10-second story with you. I'm in a marketing meeting and I see this lady always looking up like this. And I'm just blown away. She's looking up over my head. I'm like, why is she looking over my head? Every decision was made off their mission statement. Does it help to serve their clients? So anytime marketing or anyone else brought in an idea, it had to reach their mission, their goal. Their sights were set. Their purpose was set. So any idea that came up, if it did not reach that goal, instantly dismissed until it did reach that goal. So think about that with your own business, right? Then you get into the weeds of it, of the goals. What are some priorities or stuff that you can break down weekly to reach those goals for the priorities, right, for that year? So you're not saying like it's in a line, but what can you do weekly? There's 52 things you can do. Now, if you understand anything about business or weight loss, and those two things are combined, and I won't go in depth about that, there's moments where you can plateau or even lose track of it, right? But as long as you're constantly focused on that goal and you're trying, it's okay to have a bye week per se, right? To have a plateau, as long as you're still focused on mission. Don't give up on yourself or on others. Keep pushing forward on there. Tasks are things that honestly you can do, and you can also assign to others that are buying into the mission. What can they do in order to reach those goals is the ultimate thing from the task. And those are things that can be done daily. I can tell you right now, as you can see these things, I shared this with our team first internally in 2020 when this all happened. And now anytime that they make a decision in the company for us to progress forward, it's based off of this right here. So when they make decisions, or they're doing everyday tasks, does it align with this? And they're asking themselves those questions. So you're getting full buy-in from your team and from your clients and from your customers in order to make these differences here, all right? So as we move forward, this is the breakdown. The purpose comes from you. The mission is the brand, and we'll break that down in a second. Priorities come from the company level. Goals is either from managers or other team leads on there, you know, the superstars on your team. And then tasks come from everyday team members, right? That are your heroes on your team that help to serve you. So let's break this down really quick. Brand versus company. Brand is what others say about your business. If I was to walk in Reedley, walk down the street and be like, hey, tell me more about the hardware store. What is it? Can they even name the name? Can they do this? What's their relationship to there? The company is what the team says about that. So my question for you is, when it comes to the brand, do others in the community that are talking about your business know what your mission is? If not, have that flag and be waving that like crazy. Let everyone know what your mission is. So when they're saying, hey, what are they trying to do? Then it's one of those things that's apparent. I've made my goal in this past year to talk all about my mission of how I'm to help others. here's what's happened. Other people, when they talk about us, say, hey, you should really talk to Richard. They got a lot of great information here, and they'll share as much as possible. Throw your hardest questions at them. And so I get random people saying, hey, so-and-so told me to ask you this, and I want to know what's a return on investment for this. I'm like, hold on. Like, I don't even know who you are yet, but let's dive into it, right? So it skips all the like, are you going to charge me anything else? I'm like, let's just dive into it. 15 minutes. Before a pandemic, I'd always ask, hey, let's go for a taco meeting instead of coffee. So let's go get tacos and let's talk about your business, right? So that was our big thing. Can't do it during pandemic. It's a little bit harder. So focus on that. So here's the thing. If you're one of those people right now that says, hey, I came here for the marketing tactics. What's the real secret? What's this and that? It's exactly what we talked about right now. It's the purpose of it. These are where people succeed or where they fail in their business because no one knows what they're talking about. They don't know any of this or they're not sharing it with others. Marketing's job is to help promote this, to promote your mission, to promote your purpose. Tactics, and I'll share with you what that's going to look like, is marketing does not matter unless you have the why figured out. So you can be posting all day long, but if it's not tied to a mission or purpose to make people smile, to have, help them with their great day, to share something. If you don't have that, and it doesn't have to be as dialed in, but start focusing on that so you can get it dialed in. One of the things is I say, if you were in Texas, which is kind of funny, it's snowing for them. And when people ask me like, hey, is it snowing for you? I'm like, I'm in California. What's snow? Like, we're in Central Valley. What's going on here? Is if you're in Texas right now, you have to know if you're either going to LA or New York. Those are two different routes to get to a destination. You have to establish that destination, which would be your mission. What's your mission and where are you trying to go from there, right? The why you're doing it and the purpose is the fuel to get there. The tactics are the speed to get there. So if you have all these tactics over time, it's easier to gather what works and what doesn't, and you can try, fail, and succeed. But that will help you in the pace and the momentum. But don't focus on like the get 1,000 followers today. Why get 1,000 followers? Who's the 1,000 followers? Get down to the root purpose of who do you really want to attract. If you were to leave with anything, does everyone know this about you? Do they know your name? Who do you help, right? And to be really specific about this. What are you helping them to get? What's the desired result? And then you can use a curious word that's a little sprinkles on top right there. And then without their biggest pain point. So really dial that in. Who are you? Who do you help, right? What's the desired result that they're looking for? And what's their biggest pain point that you're helping them to avoid? If you can do this, it's almost like an elevator pitch, right? If you can do this, then people either say within 5 seconds, yes, you're exactly who I need to talk to, or no, I wasn't exactly looking like for that. But that helps you versus talking to them for 10 minutes and they're like, oh, that's what you do? No, I don't need that. And you're like, dang it, that's 10 minutes of time and attention. Not wasted, but just didn't work out as well. So here's the thing, right? And I know I've been a fire hose of information for you. Now what? What are you supposed to do with this? What's the next steps? You've taken notes on some action items. I'm available for questions right now, so we'll talk about that. But I want to share something with you. The reason we got connected to Charlene, to Eric, and to other community members as well is the fact of serving others. We served others since 2016 through Online Marketing Fresno. We are shutting that down, but we didn't shut it down without another option. We are running an organization called Run PPC. It's a free online community that helps you to define these things first. Our goal is to help you define everything before you spend $1 on marketing. So I'm not saying dive in and spend money on marketing. Let's define these purposes. Let's define everything first, right? And yes, it is a play on the Run DMC, by the way. I believe this audience would know about that, so that's cool. Some people are like, what's Run DMC? I'm like, you're not our customer. You're not someone, so it is a play on that. We are focused on mission first, product second. If people understand what your mission is, the product will come and people will be more likely to engage and build that relationship to drive revenue if they agree with your mission on there. So you can go to runppc.com. So it's pretty cool. I'm glad we got that domain. You can go there, you can sign up. And then as soon as we launch that free group, it's free to everyone and it'll be through Facebook group to start out. And all we're gonna do is my team and ourselves are gonna go on there and get lessons on there to share, and you can go on there at any point. So that's what I'm here to provide today. There's no like, sign up today for sign up with our marketing services. I'm here to provide as much value as possible. So thank you for your time. Open the questions either through the comments or you can unmute yourself for this. I'll leave the slide up just for like 1 more minute or so on there for Run PPC, or I'll drop it in the chat. And I'm here to serve you into I'm blue in the face. I'm here. I can talk for 12 hours about marketing and business all day long. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Richard. Does anyone have any questions for Richard? Well, I just wanted to bring up, obviously, we talked about a lot about focus and, attention to marketing. What is your thoughts as far as, when you talk about quantity or quality, is there a mixture of that? Obviously time of a person to do this is just as valuable as a time for someone to, absorb the marketing that you're trying to give. What is your take on that?
Yeah, so quality over quantity, because here's the thing about Facebook. Yes, consistency matters, but if you're posting the same stuff and over, you'll get lost and you'll get drowned out. So what we tell everyone to do, and even with ourselves, post once a week with value. And it could even be a simple hand raising question. It could be one picture, right? Get at least one on there and then plan 52 of those. Why? Because there's 52 weeks. So you always have your floor of like the best thing that you can do is at least get one post once a week at least. Now, say you have 52 ideas, the 53rd idea will be your second post a week. So then get another 52 ideas out there. And they're simple, like hand raising questions. How's your Monday going so far? What do you like to eat for lunch? What projects are you working on this week? What's the outfit missing from your wardrobe right now, right? Or from your closet? Could be simple hand raising questions to engage people, but at least get one of those a week. And then you want to get 2 a week. And then soon you want to get to one a day, right? But you'll work up to that momentum and you can also engage with the team.
Also kind of directing on your discussion of focus and knowing your mission on all types of things. The first thing that came to me is, as a person that's doing that, is kind of saving you time because you're not all over the place. If you have a drive of where you're going, you're not kind of spending time on things that maybe really don't promote you well as a business. And so I really appreciated you kind of reiterating that focus concept, I guess.
Yeah, and let me share my screen really quick. And yes, you guys can screenshot this if you want. I'm not going to freak out on this one there. I'm going to share my screen with you. I once a month for 2 hours meet with my team, and we go over the scheduled posting for the month. What is some motivational content? What's some Tech Tuesdays? What's some Feature Fridays? What are some different things? And we lay out a month's worth of content in 2 hours. Now what happens after that is our team is able to go in here and actually write out the content. So even on my team, I'm not the one doing all the social media posts. I have a team on my team doing that, team members that love social media to death, right? And so they're able to go through the month and keep posting this content for us. So once a month for 2 hours, we come up with all the content ideas that are rough and then allow one person on our team to go through and execute that daily. So 2 hours of my time equals a month's worth of content.
Yeah. It's funny because I look at that, I'm like, I've never done that. It's like, I'm curious if anyone else, but it's one of those things that you learn to do, right? Like it becomes a habit.
Let's take it down.
I think that's like a big key, right? Is like doing that. And that's constantly, Eric, I feel the same way too. Like that's constantly in my head. Like, I know I need to do that. If I just did that, I would be like so much more sane, right? But it's getting your own ducks in a row to like do that for yourself, right?
And here's the 5 questions we ask. Ready to get 2 hours of stuff? Here's the 5 questions we ask. What's a theme that we want to post on Monday? For us, it's Motivational Monday. To come up with a month's worth of content, I need 4 motivational posts. That's it. We do Tech Tuesday. We used to do Taco Tuesday, right? Come up with 4 posts about tacos. There's a month's worth of content for Tuesday. Wisdom Wednesday was for us, right? Come up with 4 posts about wisdom. And so you have a team sitting there, come up with just 10 to 20 ideas, but we're going to focus on 4 of them. So Monday through Friday, 4 things for each day, right? Fun Fridays, whatever, throwback Thursdays, throw back a picture of your first time, right? And you only need 4 ideas and there's a month's worth of content.
Yeah.
So break it down to 5 questions, take 2 hours, write down as much as you can, and then give it to someone else to execute. Hey, can you go post this stuff on these given days? That's a month's worth of content.
So a question about the mission statement, right?
Yeah.
And I understand like your mission statement should be the core of what your business, right? Like what you want to do. Can that ever change? Like considering, right? So like,
100%.
Okay. So like
Yep.
maybe like, for the next 3 years, this is our goal. Because we could be in a transition year with my parents to myself. Like, so I just, my goal might not be the same as their goal. So I just.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that you can do as well is that like, how does that transition work? Because it's not like, oh, now we're going to be this new fancy, cafe. You're not going to be, we're still bringing the time honored tradition from our parents, right? To be able to serve that cup of coffee to you, you know, or you can even choose one item or that strawberry pie every day for you 24/7. Well, not 24/7, back up here, right? But it's still the mission's there.
Please no.
Yeah.
And then I had a question too about like posting. So, you know, going back to, you know, content, like it's not about posting, but you're saying at least once a week, but should we do, is it a balance of like, hey, this is a question maybe to your general community and then like maybe another one of like, hey, this is a bacon cheeseburger, like maybe a mix of things? Or, I mean, I like your formula now knowing that you planned out everything for a month. You know, I think I'll try to do that ahead of time, but
well, and that's the best part. So let's take a bacon cheeseburger, right? I know this sounds weird, but take a plate and lay out every ingredient, and then even post a question, what's missing from this bacon cheeseburger? That's a post. And then people are like, oh, you need ketchup, you need this, you need this, you need that. And you're like, I got you, we got ketchup. You know what I mean? So when you're coming back and forth, they're like, whatever you want to put on there. Oh, you want avocados? We got avocados. You know, you want syrup? I know that's weird. We'll put syrup on there. Like, you're going to get those people that are just going to go and engage, but is put a deconstructed burger in front of them, or even one that's actually there, right? That's your one post.
And it gives the message, burger any way you want it.
Boom. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. All right. Any other questions for Richard? And you shared your email already, Richard? Or your
I shared Run PPC. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. I think, Matthew, you unmuted yourself. Go for it.
About thoughts on like connecting with other businesses, marketing, social media to kind of help each other?
Yeah, absolutely. I love we call it like one-touch marketing. So going to other businesses and even connecting, because one person can share the live video or share the post, and then the other business that's a part of it can just share it from there and comment and tag them in it, right? So like, Matt, what was your business that you do? You do fitness center? Oh man, you're here to get business owners in shape. Go over to a business, let them know that you're coming there and say, hey, let's do 10 push-ups together, or let's do this, or let's do jumping jacks, right? And you tag the business owner. Very transparent there, like, hey, we're helping get our community in shape. You mean? And then even ask them, hey, even to go over there and just talk with them for a second, like go to the business, like, hey, what's your favorite exercise that gets you pumped in the morning? Or when do you like to work?
I kind of, with Matt too, thanks, Matt. Like I've been thinking about that too. Like, does that take like, yeah, how do we promote? Like, so sometimes I'll go down to Ace Hardware and I'll get something, or, you know, and I put on there like, oh, I got this at Ace. Or with Emma, I mostly do that on my own personal one, if my girl goes over there and gets clothes. But yeah, like,
yeah,
I guess I'm asking you other business owners that are on here, like, do you guys want to work together? Or what do we need to do to make that happen so we can share each other?
Oh yeah. So,
you're on mute. Sorry.
yeah, actually, it's funny. We were just talking about that. You know, and we were saying, you know, thank you when you do share that you stopped into the store and pick something up, and you share it on your page and say, hey, I picked this up at Ace Hardware. It's awesome. Go check it out.
I think I saw a heater last time.
I think it was a heater too. I think last time. But you know, that's sort of something we're always looking for new ways to connect, because at least for us, you know, we're a little bit newer to the community than say Mainstreet is. And so we have maybe less people or different people that follow us than maybe say follow you. And so that allows us to reach a different you know, group of people, a different audience. And so, you know, we did something sort of like that, kind of towards the beginning of the pandemic. I don't know how well it actually worked, but the thought was there. But towards the beginning of the pandemic, we did a deal in store where we posted and we said, you know, bring us your receipt showing that you know, dined local or did takeout local, and you'll get a discount on your transaction or something like that. You know, we did something like that towards the beginning. Like I said, I don't know how well it worked, but you know, the thought was there. But yeah, we're always looking for new ways to work, you know, with other people in the community.
Yeah, I'm so all for that. I think the last post I shared with you guys is we made burgers here on the Blackstone Grill, you know, and I'm like, oh, got our grill at Ace Hardware. Or maybe that was, no, I put it on our business account. Yeah. So I think I don't know, Eric, if we need to reach out to each other, or
Yeah.
if that's something that, Eric can help us facilitate, but I'm all for
Yeah.
that,
So, I mean, I'm trying to figure that would take some thought, but kind of, I mean, for me, like I just go and follow all the businesses in Reedley that I can. And so for me, when I share on like We Are Reedley or whatever, when you guys come up, I definitely make sure to share. And so I think if you're able to, maybe I can find a list of make it easy for you to find on your social media, that when someone does share something, you can either reshare it or comment on it. But I think also just a realization when you're posting yourself to think, oh, how can this relate to my business if I bought something or I'm eating something
Okay.
today, and just kind of make that as part of your weekly posting, and figure out how to incorporate a local business to attach to your business. And it's really that you get that double hit, because if it connects to your business, then people think of both things in a positive way, I think, which is kind of cool.
And I have a question for you guys, like maybe you guys all know, do we follow back everyone who follows us? Is that how we're getting when people tag us? Like, I'm so new to Instagram. My daughter's the one that told me I had to have an Instagram account. So I don't know if I'm missing people reshare something or
That's a good one,
post
Carrie.
or tag us in it. So am I supposed to be following everybody back?
I don't know.
I don't.
That made me laugh though. I'd say yeah. Why not?
It depends which. Well, for me, like I don't add everybody, because that's a lot more scrolling that I do when I'm trying to share. So as for my purposes, I don't. And I don't see that how it affects, unless it's somebody that I know that is, a community member that shares a lot, that maybe I'll see something on their page that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. But for the most part, I follow, the businesses that I want to share.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if I'm missing because like DJ, like Tony, he always will tag something in there,
Yeah.
but I see it because I follow him back as a business.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, like, is there somebody sharing something or tagging us that I'm not following that I don't see? So maybe Richard, do you know that? Like if
so
I'm
anytime
not
you're
following
mentioned on
someone
there,
back?
anytime you're mentioned, you'll get notified if you're mentioned. If you're tagged on there. If they tag you on there, you'll get mentioned. But if it's just the words in there, you might not get tagged on that. But yeah, please collaborate with others, man. Everyone's connected in some way. It's just sharing with others,
I know one big thing for restaurants that I've been thinking about doing, and I reached out to Eric about it too, and actually Daniel Bueno, was kind of going to different locations every week and sit down with the owners or somebody at the staff, or and eating the food and talking about it, talking about the location and stuff like that. And also incorporating like Reedley, Orange Cove, and Partier, because we're a small knit community. And that's something I want to start up. And just whenever Eric wants to do it, or when Daniel Bueno wants to do it, just to be able to actually incorporate everybody else. And I think that'd be a good idea for all the restaurants out there.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, I think you and I talked a little bit before, Renee, about, having a restaurant coalition a little bit. We had that one meeting with Eric when COVID first started. But I could see that. I think too, like the other thing that I have, I guess I'm being too cautious maybe, but I don't know, Richard or Eric, you can help with this. I think I get too leery of reposting another business. Like, am I overstepping, or, that kind of thing. But I guess in the social media world, or the marketing world, like that's okay to piggyback on them.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So like one of your posts per week could be just posting something about Reedley that someone else has posted, right? So that could be one of your posts per week, right? If you want to get 2 posts per week, one about you, one about Reedley, right? Something that's happening, like, hey, check out our kids and what they're doing in the community. Check out this, check out that. Just anything to show like, what are you associated with in terms of what do you like to see as well, right? Because that gives insights like, oh, you support this, I support this, we might as well go there, right?
And I think, Carrie, most people will appreciate that, because once you share something, then that makes it a more noticed post, I guess, so to speak, because that's kind of how, I guess, I'm assuming the algorithms work. If people are liking it or they're sharing it, then it gets shared more and other people see it that way. So I would say that's always a positive thing if you share someone else's post.
Yeah, Absolutely. And
Eric,
there's no time decay on there. So if you're sharing something, let's just say even about pizza, it's not stuck in my head. I got cinnamon roll, strawberry pie, and pizza stuck in my head. When you're thinking about that, right? If anyone's searching anything related to that and the post was from a week ago and you got some comments or likes, it will still pop up on someone's feed today. So don't feel fearful of like, oh, if I don't get likes right away, you're really putting an inventory into social media, and then they're sharing it when it's the best part for that person to engage with. That's the ultimate goal. Keep you engaged.
Did someone have a comment?
Eric, I wanted to say something real quick for the businesses. I taught a customer service workshop a while ago, and like Emma said, it was really important. She had to figure out what the target market was for her clothing and the different generations. And one thing that I wasn't able to share at the beginning, there's a website called Revive Fresno County. If you go on that website as a business, different generations are really scared right now to be in person or even to walk into businesses that are open. If you go onto the Revive Fresno County website, you can list your business, take the pledge as a safe business that you're following all the COVID-19 protocols. I'll drop it into the chat. And then you can print a certificate that says that you're following these protocols and you are a safe business, and you can put it on your social media. You can put it on your door, for people that are really being cautious out there and want to know that the business is practicing safe protocols. You can also find out if you drop the restaurant in there, like for Renee, if you drop restaurant in there with the drop down, you can find out the latest protocols for restaurants. What are the guidelines for the restaurants? So that's a really good website to visit as a business for COVID.
And we
I'll
do
drop it into the chat box.
Yeah, we do have that on our website, and we did make calls when that program came out. So most of you should have received a phone call from us alerting you about that program. So hopefully you guys have taken advantage of that. But yeah, it provides some great opportunities for those, as Charlene said, that are concerned about COVID, and it shows that you are following the different protocols. Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like we're getting close to 10 o'clock here. If there's any last comments, Richard, are we all good?
Yeah, and just the one last that was dropped in chat, I just answer right now, but as soon as we end this, then it'll disappear, is a post versus stories. I love posts, and then stories allowed to become in a news feed in terms of, we're talking technical really quick on Facebook or Instagram. So post about that, because that will last longer. The story will only last for 24 hours. But if someone clicks on one story, yours is going to be next in line for one of those things happening. So you want to post in both. It's all about time and attention, so don't focus on just one. I love stories because it gets the instant engagement and will last longer to show that as well. So, and that's an Instagram or Facebook tactic as well. So just want to make sure we got that in there.
If I could say one more thing, and this kind of goes back, I actually was taking a few notes, and one thing I forgot to mention, and this is just, I think for us, we feel like it's been huge. It's put a lot of our posts in front of a lot of eyes, and is the chamber. Eric sharing every post, or damn near every post. It's been huge, and we really appreciate that. So
thank you. Yeah, I mean that I'm kind of trying to follow the rules that I think that work, and definitely just trying to keep you guys out there. As I mentioned, greatly appreciate your membership and believing in our mission and what we do for the city. So thank you guys for that.
Thank you, Eric.
Awesome. All right. Well, Charlene, did you have any last words?
No, I just want to say that would help connect me to the businesses in Reedley. That you follow the businesses. Because of that, I've been to sweet destinations, and I have eaten at Mainstreet Café, and I love them all. And following the businesses like you do on the Reedley website really helps, because when I see those pictures, I'm like, okay, I got to get out there. So great job. And the businesses out there are doing a really good job. And we will continue as your representative for Reedley, working with Eric, continue to help you guys in any way that we can.
All right. Well, it's 10 o'clock, so I'm going to turn off the recording, but if anyone wants to stick around for questions, I will allow that. But this will end the formal part of our presentation, so thank you.
I just want to say something to Carrie real